This is a film about a remarkable man, my grandfather, Luigi Mario Donnarumma, known in the New World as Lou Donar. He grew up in Malta, a tiny island south of Sicily in the Mediterranean. He was born in Valletta on January 9, 1911. 19 years later, he immigrated to the New World, to Detroit, Michigan. This was during the Depression, but Lou managed to find work, a wife, and happiness. He also started a family, a pizza business, and a whole lot of trouble. For over 95 years, he's gone through many changes in his life, and he's invented quite a few stories along the way. And now, I'd like to share them with you. The Lives of Lou.
In Malta, in the town Hamrun, where we were there. At that time, there was a bully, Ricca. Everybody was scared shit about him. This guy used to come in school. He was full of bugs, goodies. He was right in front of me, sitting on the bench, desk. We had single desks, you know. But I was right behind him, and I can see those damn bugs crawling all over him, and I knew damn well they were coming here and there. So finally I told him, I says, hey, he says, when the hell are you going to take a bath and clean that? He got offended, you know. I told him, yeah, full of bugs. Look, they're crawling all over you. And he took a swing at me. And I almost killed the son of a bitch. He was twice as big as I was. I was always small, you know, like this. And it was on the feast of San Gaetano. See, in Malta, kids can walk up to a bar. If they got the money, they ask for a drink, they gotta get it. It's the law. See? So, on San Gaetano, I went out and I started drinking. And drinking and drinking and drinking, and all of a sudden, here comes Ricca on the same sidewalk where I was, on the same side, everything. And I wouldn't move and he wouldn't move, and we met face to face. And there we started. Never even said a word. Then we started fighting. There was a butcher shop, and they knew me there, because he was coming over to protect me, you know. And I says, no, I says, let me go with him. I says, now, if you see that I'm failing, you know, a little bit, then you can come and help me out a little bit. He didn't need to come, because I almost killed that son of a bitch.
In fact, the churches, they had a big fight the day we were there over some religious festival. One church, I don't know, one club got too close to another club, and they busted up all their statues. The place was like in a riot. And he said that was quite common. He used to fight a lot of times with neighboring clubs. So that's where he got this attitude, you know, this fighting attitude.
I jumped once, twice. The second time, about 2 days later, I was there swimming and jumping. Now I knew where to land. because there was very shallow rocks. And this guy was a British soldier. He saw me jumping, he came up there and jumped, same thing. And he hit one of those rocks there, stones. And his head, I was in the water. His head was in pieces. I threw up.
Why America?
Someday I'll show you her picture. This family that lived in a Maltese family that lived in America, they had sent my aunt some pictures. And this girl, I can't think of her name now. This girl was in the picture. And I says, oh shit, I gotta meet this girl. I gotta see her. And that's how I went to see that girl.
What did she look like?
She was pretty. She was nice.
She looked like a movie star?
No, she looked pretty as a Maltese girl. But then, in a way, I'm glad I didn't, because she got fat. Yeah, I was glad that I didn't. I was friend, okay, you know. It's a funny thing that I was driving, we were going to pick up the girls, me and my compadre Charlie. And we picked up his girl, and my girl that lived across the street, she was sick. I told him, I said, hell, I says, no. I said, I'll get some tickets and I'll dance with those girls. You know, you give them a ticket and you dance with them. So we took off, and on the way, there was a movie. There's about half a dozen girls coming out of there. And then Lottie, Charlie's girl, says, hey, there is Isabel. There's Isabel. Let's see if Isabel wants to go. But she called her. She says, yeah, she says, I'll go, but I gotta go and see if my father will let me. She says, okay, let's go and see your father. She says, yeah, but my father is Italian, he don't speak English. I told her that's just fine because I can speak Italian. So I went to her house, and first thing he did, he looked at me. How many wives do you have in Italy? That's the first thing he asked me. I told her, wives? He says, hell no. I says, I'm single. And then I start talking Italian to him. Oh, he just loved me when I talked Italian. Yeah, okay. I give it to you in your hands. Io mi metto mia figlia nelle mani tue che per portar cura.
Asensio, he was a piece of work. Strictly old school, right from Italy. And he was a tough bird. I mean, he didn't, give an inch. But he liked Pop for some reason because he could speak Italian. And I believe that softened, a lot of the intro trauma for him.
She was only 19 when she married Pop. He was about 7, 8 years older. So he had to go tell her father that they were going to get married. So he told my mother that you can get married, but that's it. You can never come home. If you get married, you have to stay with him forever. You can never come back home.
Well, let me say first that I always was impressed by the things that my father accomplished. I mean, he was a remarkable person. Generally, whatever he did, he was successful at because he worked hard at it. And that was, if there was one thing I learned from him, it was that if you're going to do something and you want it to be a success, you're going to have to work hard at it. But you'll get the rewards. And generally, that's pretty much the pattern that dictated his life.
He was able to adapt because he's expedient, resilient, and elastic enough where he's going to make it no matter where you plop him. He's going to find a way to make it. Now, whether he has to draw on his old world skills or invent new ones to be in the flux of the new world, he will do it. He will do whatever it takes to make it. Now, some of his adaptations are a bit cumbersome and clumsy, but he gets the job done. And some of them are very sophisticated and beautiful. But nobody ever bats 1,000. You know, you don't go 4 for 4 every day.
The things that he taught me were that you always go to work, no matter how hard you're out partying, you don't miss work, you do a good job at work, and you take care of your family as best as you can. You know, you're not a bum, you know.
He learned the trade of an electrician, and he was a damn good one. But he liked to tinker with stuff. You asked my brother Dan, he said everything is wired. He was afraid to touch anything in the house in Florida. You know, he'd have 220 current here and something over here, and you know, and Danny says, you got to get rid of this. You know, somebody's gonna get killed in here. But he liked to rig things up. He liked to jazz them up a little.
He has to see how something makes sense to him before he'll do it. Just you telling him something is the way to do it doesn't always work. He has to experiment and learn it on his own before he does something. And he almost always changes everything that he either buys or invents, or he's always changing things, looking for better ways to do things.
Talking to me about pizza. How the hell did that happen? Had a friend of mine, had a pizzeria. He still got it. And I was down close by one time, and I thought I'd stop and say hello, see how he's doing. And by God, he started talking to me about pizza. And he said, "Lou," he says, "you're wasting your time." He says, "There's money in this pizza." So I told him, I says, "Okay, I says, all right, I'll try it." So home stoves, you know. I got 2 of those because there was a little lunch shop there, and there was a little kitchen and everything, you know. They used to make soup. I had a good sauce. I made my own sausage.
The sauce was very tangy. It was, but not overly sweet. It had a nice balance of flavor to it. He used a combination of cheeses. He would use a combination of mozzarella cheese and Munster. It gave it a nicer texture. It was more creamy. It was a creamier cheese. He decided at one time that it would made more sense to him that when you were making a pizza with pepperoni on it, that you put the pepperoni down on top of the sauce and you put the cheese on top of it. That way, when you slid the pizza into the oven, the pepperoni didn't get all burnt and crispy from the high temperature oven. And it turned out that it made a better pizza because the flavor from the pepperoni was in the cheese.
Didn't you have a bet with the Detroit News guy that you couldn't bake the pizza? It was too big. Didn't you?
That was a $50 bet I made. I can make a 36-inch pizza, and the guy he didn't tell me, but he measured the door on the oven, and the door on the oven was only 32. See, so this stupid guy he couldn't figure out that I can make a 36-inch pizza. He said, okay, I'll bet you, I'll bet you, I'll bet you, I'll bet you. Okay, I'll bet you. He said, $50. I said, 1,000. No, he said. So I figured, hell, I'll take the $50. So all I had to do was just fold the ends a little bit, couple inches, and pushed it in, then laid it down. And oh no, he says, you cannot what? We didn't say nothing about folding the pizza. And he paid it.
All working in the pizzeria, our basketball team won some championship. And we had them all into the pizzeria for a 48 or 36-inch pizza. Grandpa was big on making these large pizzas. And in fact, there's photographs to document it that, you know, all the guys that were there all had hair about this long, all their heads shaved and hair about that long. And we're all in the pizzeria eating from this huge pizza. It was about that big.
He put 4 of us through college on that little pizzeria. And the Highland Park firemen, I think they put me through med school with all the pizzas they ate. And they still talk about it. I talked to my friends that was the best pizza they ever ate.
He yelled at everybody. He yelled at my mother. He yelled at his sister. He yelled at us. He was a yeller. He had very hard time controlling his emotions in terms of incompetency, in terms of you're not doing it the way I told you to do it, and this is my place, and I make the rules, and you'll do it this way. And if you varied from that, you got yelled at.
Yeah, and Christmas lights, his dad won't put up a Christmas light. He made us stand out there in November, cold winter, and putting up these lights like it was a crusade, you know? We had to do this and we had to do that, and we'd be standing out there putting up all these lights. It was a real chore, and I didn't like it.
You definitely had to deal with them a lot.
It was tricky at times. He had a very strict standards on such as haircuts. He didn't like sideburns, didn't like a New Yorker cut in the back, the straight across.
What's a New Yorker?
A New Yorker cut is the hair is long and it's cut straight across and it's shingled, and that was the rage in our day. And the sides were wild, called a duck's ass type haircut. And he did not like that, and he insisted on giving me haircuts, which I would run and hide. You know, I mean, I wouldn't take his haircuts, but once in a while, I had no choice.
See, at our house, we couldn't watch Elvis Presley.
No, because he was a sinner?
I don't know why. If you can watch Lawrence Welk, you can watch Elvis Presley. You know?
Didn't he like Hee Haw?
He liked Hee-Haw.
And those trashy women on Hee Haw?
Yeah, he did.
Well, you couldn't watch Elvis.
He liked Benson, but he certainly doesn't like the NBA basketball.
And he didn't like Good Times.
No, but he liked Benson.
He does love to dominate, but dominating ethereal, abstract things is not a disgrace. Dominating people, now there's where the issues come in.
I used to take these trips to Italy, you know, and a friend of mine asked me, and how come you take so many trips? And I told him that, hell, I says, I have to go every 6 months. I have to go and pay my dues in the mafia, you know. And there was 2, 3 guys sitting on the counter there, and one of them, I still know which one, but it was one of them that went and told the police. Now the chief of police there, him and I, we go hunting together. He's a good friend of mine. And he told me, he says, what the hell are you doing? He says, you're making them trouble. It's not, don't make sense. I told him, what are you talking about, Bear? He says, well, now they're watching you. There is a FBI across the street in the window all day long, watching your place, because you told somebody that you conduct something to do with the mafia. I told him, oh, for Christ's sake, I said. So I told him what the story, and so he got a hold of those guys and told them, that's finished. Yeah, you gotta be careful today, you know how to. That's another thing. See, when you shoot a deer, a doe especially, when the bullet hits, you'll hear, ah! It'll cry that she's dying. And I heard that once and I didn't want to hear it no more. No more.
Did the bear make a noise?
The bear took off when he heard the shot. Yeah. Bears are not easy to shoot. Usually, they know it. They'll climb a tree, and you can never hit them if they're on the tree, because the bullet hits a twig or just a little thing, and it changes direction.
He had a black bear, and I'm not sure of the story, but he told me he had to drag it out of a swamp, and it was the hardest thing he ever did. And I don't know who skinned it, and I don't know who eviscerated it, but he brought a hunk of the meat home, and it was like eating a chunk of Olga coal. It was black and greasy, and it tasted like shit, to be honest with you. And I don't even think the animals would eat it. I don't know what happened to it, but my recommendation is don't ever order bear meat. You know, it's not the thing to eat.
I'm going to feed the squirrels, the first thing, no kidding, and let them come and eat out of my hand. Then I'll let you come and take your movies. See, they know now those squirrels used to come on my windowsill there and stand there like by the window. Yeah, they stand on their hind end, and then I'll go out there, put my hand out there full of peanuts, and they clean it up in no time. Because, you know, each squirrel can carry 3 peanuts in his mouth. And when he goes away, you see him. And then they'll go by the tree and peel them over there. I like that. You know, they didn't all over. They go by the tree. And then I go, or Ned goes with the rake. We can clean it up in no time. But for a while, I had a bunch there that they start peeling and making mess all over. So then I changed it.
He said, why me? Why did I last and everybody's gone? All my sisters are gone. My wife is gone. All of her family is gone. Why? Why is it me that was chosen to last?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I wish I did.
I said, Pop, I can't really answer that. It may be genetics. It may be your will to live, your zeal for solving problems. I can't give you a one-on-one answer. It's a multifaceted answer, and I can't give it to you.
Grandma's teacher was from Canada, and she knew, and she'd get very, very mad, and I hated to see her mad. She was a big woman, huge woman, and she tells me, she said, every time, if I find out that you come over here and you don't come over my house, she says, I'll kill you. Like that, with emphasis that I'll kill you. And she was very nice.